Hi my loves, so today I wanted to do a different kind of video. I wanted to kick off the new semester the right way and actually film a how I organize my makeup in college. Now I am a junior this year, so I figured that why not do a how I organize my makeup in a dorm room. Now the reason I decided to do this, especially now, is because I realized that not many people are gonna bring their makeup to a dorm room, but you may have to deal with roommates and you may have to deal with smaller living spaces. So if you are somebody like me who likes to collect makeup, some of these can give you kind of tips and tricks on how to organize your makeup. Now, I do utilize the furniture that is given in the dorm room when you move in. So that's one thing. I can't give you guys exact this furniture and this thing will work good, but it gives you guys an idea of how I set it up and how I make it work for such a small area. Now, I only have half the room. If you've ever been in a college dorm room, the rooms are pretty small, so it's hard to kind of utilize the space that I have for my makeup, but then also make sure I have space for other things that I need. You need to be able to have a clean desk for doing any type of study work if you wanted to do it in your room instead of in a library or in a study area. And then also you need space for all your living area things. So I'm gonna go through that today. Hopefully it won't be too long and drawn out, but it'll give you guys an idea on how to utilize the least amount of space but still be able to store a large amount of makeup. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Please don't leave any negative comments. I know it's not necessary for me to bring this with me to school. I know that it's more of a hassle than anything and that I won't ever use it even in my whole lifetime, let alone while I'm away at school, but it's just something that makes me feel better. I feel more like a security blanket with it here kind of thing. So it makes me feel good, and that's really all that matters at the end of the day. So yeah, I'm not gonna keep you guys here for too long, and hopefully we can get started with the video. So if you want to see how I organize my makeup in a dorm room or a small space, just keep on watching. Alrighty, so hopefully the audio will be okay. I am behind the camera right now and I have a shotgun mic, so I don't know how the audio is going to be, but hopefully you guys can still hear me. So I'm going to start off with my desk. This is where I do my makeup every day. As you can see, for the most part, I do have a lot of empty space still. I can move my little towel and stuff underneath my tripod. I like to keep a lot of empty space just in case there are days I want to do my work in my room. It's easy for me to be able to utilize the space at the front of the desk. I do keep my tripod set up just because it's easier to store it on the desk than it is to put it away every time I decide to use it. But that's just where I keep that. Then moving on these two lamps right here, I do keep a few things that I use consistently that it's just easier to have them within reach, but since they can sit on top of the little lamp area, they're kind of put away at the same time. So I have my setting sprays, some contact solution, I have a heat protectant for my hair, makeup remover, more contact solution, and my moisturizer. So all of that is kind of put away since they are on top of the lamps, but they're also still within easy access and within reach for me because I do use them a lot of days than not. So moving on, I do have two Sterilite drawers. Let me just move my mirror. I have these two Sterilite drawers where I keep a lot of my everyday products. So on top, I have my powder, which I use every day. I prefer loose powder. This is a little concoction I have. It's the Ben Nye Neutral set, the Ben Nye Banana powder, and a CoverGirl loose powder, not loose press powder, all mixed together, and that's what I keep in there. I have my contact stuff, some extra mirrors, little handheld mirrors, and some press powders, and then my Vaseline, because if you know me, that is the only thing I really like using on my lips. Lip products are just not my cup of tea, so that is why I keep that up there. And then starting off with these, the first two drawers are concealers. So the first one up here has a lot of my wand concealers. I have the Wet n Wild Photo Focus concealers, the Ulta Full Coverage Waterproof Concealer. I have these in the shade Light Warm. And then I have my Maybelline Fit Me's and the NYX HD concealers. A lot of these are my absolute favorites. I definitely recommend those. Then moving down, I have a lot more concealers. I have some by Rimmel, Maybelline concealers, some more NYX in the jars, e.l.f. And then I have the two that I use on my brows, which are the Hard Candy Glamouflage concealers. And I use these in the shades medium and medium light. So these I use on my brows specifically just because I don't really love the way that they look on my eyes. Now, moving down, I have my brow drawer. I have all of my brow products, so all my eyeshadows that I use for my brows, any type of like paint pots or like the NYX gel cream eyebrow like products. I do have a review on this. I will link it in the YouTube cards if you guys are interested in that, so you guys can check that out. This is my absolute favorite eyebrow product. And then I also keep any brushes that I use just specifically for my brows. So a lot of my angled brushes and my concealer brushes are in here. Then the next two, I have more brushes. So this is going to be any type of shader brush in this first one. I have a bunch of different brands. And then this is going to be any type of like little crease brush or fluffy brush. The reason I separate the two out is because since they have different purposes, it's easy for me to grab for them instead of putting them all in one drawer. And then also I like having them sitting flat like this because I do have a few double-ended brushes, so it's easier to have them in like drawers like this instead of having them in a cup, because when I put them in a cup I can't put my double-ended brushes in there, and I like having them all in one spot, so it's easier for me to have them here. And then it keeps kind of dust away from them, especially if they're brushes you don't use that often. Then I have up here, this is kind of like a miscellaneous drawer. I have like cream eyeliners, liquid eyeliners, pencil eyeliners. I have my mascaras, I have my like tweezers and things, and my lash glues. So kind of just a miscellaneous drawer. I don't have too many eyeliners or mascaras, so this kind of just gets filled up with those. Then down here, I have the start of my primers drawers. I'm not really going to go too much into it, but these are a lot of the primers that I use on a day-to-day basis. I also have the second drawer filled with primers. So anything that's like a tube or ones that have like a little wand goes in these two. Then the last primer drawer is anything that comes in a pot. So like my MAC paint pots, the NYX eyeshadow bases, what are these? Mary Kay, sorry. Cream eyeshadows, the e.l.f. ones, all of those go in here. And then lastly are colored bases, so eyeliners that I use more for bases than actual eyelining, and then like the NYX jumbo pencils, some like fluid lines that I prefer for like actual cream bases instead of eyeliners, those go in here as well. And then also like a paint pot I have in here, which is in a purple shade, which I'm really not going to use as a standard primer, but I will use it for an eyeshadow base, go in this drawer. Moving on to the top of my dresser, this is what you guys can kind of see in the background of my videos. It doesn't always look like this. It's actually kind of messy right now since I just got back. A lot of this stuff will find a home later on, but for now, the stuff that does stay up here is I have a small bin of small eyeshadow palettes. So the little like, what are these? The Wet n Wild ones. I have some from BH Cosmetics and from e.l.f. Those go up here. Then I also have my lashes up here. I've recently got into wearing false lashes, so all of my lashes are kind of in this little bin. And then I keep wipes because I need to wipe my hands, and then if I have fallout, I need to be able to kind of get that away really easily when I'm doing my makeup, so I keep those within reach. I have Q-tips and tissues also within reach for those same reasons. And then starting off to like my major makeup area, the first drawer is filled with majority highlighters. So here I have smaller little highlighters, so things that are like mini eyeshadows or some pigments that I use for a highlighter, they go into this bin. Over on this bin is actually a lot of my like pigment shadows. So I have a lot of my Bare Minerals shadows, the MAC pigments, Kat Von D pigments. I have a few NYX. All of those go here. I also keep like single shadows in here as well. I don't have too many of those. Single shadows is not my preference, but those stay in here. And then in the back, I have my larger highlighters. That's just because it's easier for me to keep them back there. And I don't have too many, so all of these kind of stay in this one drawer. This is just my NYC Smooth Skin Sunny Bronzer. I keep this here because I use this for nose contouring. Then the second drawer is my larger face palettes or larger bronzers. They are majority bronzers, but I do have like the City Color Glam Quad. That is just a larger face palette of blushes. All of these go here, and then also like loose powder bronzers and blushes go in here as well. The reason I keep these here is because since they are very large, if I mix them in with the rest of my makeup, it's really easy for them to kind of overpower the drawer. I find it's easier not to have any type of divider or separators like these little things in the drawer, because I did try that before, but I found when I stack them on top of each other, which you do have to do, I was never reaching for anything that was on the bottom. So just kind of doing a thin layer of products all along the bottom and not trying to organize them out is what's worked for me here. And then it's also cheaper too. Not that these are that expensive. You can find these for a few dollars at like Walmart or Target, but they are a little bit expensive if you do have a larger collection and you need to buy as many as I would. And then moving down, I have my first blush drawer, sorry, tongue twister. So this really just kind of has all of my mini blushes. So anything that's like a smaller, compact, or even just like these two like duos from LA Colors, I keep all of these in here. Even though it looks like a mess and it's really hectic, it's actually a lot easier than the way that I said I was organizing them before, which was with the bins. I find that I can just kind of sift through them and find some things that I want to use. I never really have a specific blush in mind or a specific product in mind. I just kind of have an idea of a color and I'll go in and see what I can find that will match it. Moving on, this is my second blush drawer. This has my larger compacts. So compacts that are kind of the size of your average like pressed powder. All of these go in here. It's easy for me to separate things out by size. Again, because it's easy for me to sift through them if they're all around the similar sizes. So I have a bunch of different brands in here. Even in my first one, I have a lot of blushes from e.l.f., LA Colors, NYX. I have some from NYC, some BH Cosmetics, some NARS, some MAC. All of those kind of go in depending on what size they are. They get organized into each separate drawer. So now moving on, the last drawer is my bronzer drawer. Sorry if it's a little out of focus. Ooh, there we go. The last drawer is my bronzer drawer. I have the least amount of smaller bronzers, so that's what goes in here. Like I said before, the larger pan or face palette drawer has a lot of my larger bronzers, but this kind of keeps a lot of different sizes because I don't have too many of them. Again, a mix of brands. Like I said, there's some NARS, some Hard Candy, I have some e.l.f., some Urban Decay, Ulta, Palladio, a lot of different brands in here. I just find it easier to use it this way because a lot of them, although they're different sizes, they're all still smaller bronzers, so keeping them all kind of together helps me find whatever tone I'm looking for. So that is the last and bottom drawer. Alrighty, so the last three areas that I have to show you are going to be these little Sterilite bins. Now, I don't fill these to capacity just because, one, they get really heavy, but then two, it's a lot harder to find the product that I'm looking for. So you don't necessarily need to separate them out as like thinly as I did, but it does help to like grab certain products when there isn't so much in the bottom of them. So this is mainly my high-end palettes. So a lot of my Urban Decay and Too Faced palettes are in here. I have some Lorac palettes like back here. Whoop, right there. I have some Tarte palettes and things like that, some Makeup Forever. A lot of my higher end palettes go in here. So I find that they organize a lot better this way, and especially because a lot of these are like the skinny rectangular palettes, they organize a lot better because they all work kind of the same like shape. So putting them behind each other to kind of stack them works a lot easier than just kind of mixing things in randomly. So that is this first bin. So in my second bin, I keep a lot of my mass market palettes, so Coastal Scents and BH Cosmetics. I keep a lot of like the cardboard style ones onto the side, and then the like more like opaque black packaging ones kind of get stacked throughout here. So this is where I keep more of my lower end, but still very much favorite palettes. So in the last drawer, or in the last bin rather, I have all of my face palettes. I found that storing palettes are easier in these bins, like storing larger palettes. So I actually keep them in these bins, and since they are all mainly just for the face, a few of these like little ones have eyeshadows in them as well, but since for the most part they do have all face products, I keep these separated, so if I'm looking for like a blush or a bronzer, I can find the palette that I'm looking for a lot faster than if I mix them all together. So this last bin keeps all of my face palettes, and since I don't have too many, they're all in one bin. Alrighty, so that is pretty much it for my dorm room makeup collection. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them in the comments section below. If you like this video and would like to see more collection style videos, definitely thumbs this up because that will let me know. And then also, if you haven't already, please subscribe. It would really mean a lot to me. I am almost at 500 subscribers, so it would really mean a lot if you guys would support me. Other than that, I hope you all are having a wonderful day wherever you are, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye, everybody!